Hello, this is Brandy Brimhall again, and I am back to cover on video another commonly asked help desk question that's submitted to Chiropractic Compliance Solutions and the ChiroCode Help Desk. So the question at hand is, are strapping codes appropriate for kinesio taping? So let's just take a look at that. But first, before we begin, I do have a short disclaimer for you. These short answers on video are based upon the ChiroCode and Chiropractic Compliance Solutions commonly asked help desk questions. They're not to be intended as legal advice, and they also don't include specific policy or state guidelines where they might apply. So providers are responsible for verifying specific guidelines as they may pertain to them, such as policy and state guidelines. Providers are also responsible for verifying the content. However, the information provided in these help desk responses is understood to be the most accurate and current available. So to get started with this question, let's first take a look at the strapping codes so that we can all be familiar with what those are. And those are the 292 series, 295 series, and then 29799 is the unlisted strapping code. So I have one example of a strapping code here for you so we can just see how it's defined. The 29540 is strapping of the ankle and or foot, and all the other strapping codes are similarly defined, but of course for a different region of the body. And these strapping codes are often used by chiropractic practices when reporting kinesio taping, but the question at hand is this correct? So first, I want to look at the definition of strapping, and this is pulled offline off of various resources. And strapping is defined as the application of adhesive plaster on or around an area served as a splint to reduce motion or hold surgical dressings in place. And just take a notice to the underlined portion that I have there that this is served as a splint to reduce motion, because that's going to be important to keep in mind as we look at the next slide. Moving on now, let's take a look at the definition of kinesio taping, which was also pulled offline from various of resources. And kinesio taping is designed to provide pain relief, stability, and support, improve recovery for injured or sore muscles or joints without sacrificing comfort or freedom of movement. Take note again of that underlined portion that says without sacrificing comfort or freedom of movement, which is the exact opposite of the definition of strapping, which would lead us to conclude up to this point that those strapping codes are not appropriate for kinesio taping services. But moving on, there's more information on kinesio taping that I want you to know. Kinesio taping is actually considered investigational, unproven, and experimental by many payers, and therefore because of that it's not often a covered service. Now I did take a few moments to pull one of those payer policies just to show you, and this is the Optum Healthcare Solutions policy. And they say that they consider kinesiology, kinesio taping therapy, to be unproven and not medically necessary for the treatment of musculoskeletal disorders due to insufficient scientific evidence of effectiveness as either a single intervention or when combined with other treatment. So again, this is one payer policy. Many payer policies have similar or exact descriptions of kinesio taping, and many of them obviously also consider this to be investigational, unproven, and experimental, which therefore means they aren't likely to pay it or simply won't pay it. So a few things that providers must do is you need to make sure that you review those payer policy guidelines regarding kinesio taping. You should never apply those strapping codes to the kinesio taping services unless your payer or policy specifically says these are the codes you have to use when reporting kinesio taping, because again, most of your payers are going to say that kinesio taping is an experimental procedure. The next thing you need to do is understand the rule of coding, and basically that is the code that accurately defines the service being rendered is the most appropriate code to use, but you again have to use that code that most accurately defines the service being rendered. Note also that there are very significant risks for using codes that aren't the appropriate code for a service just for the purpose of getting paid. We cannot bill a procedure as though it is actually something else just so that we can get paid. So make sure that you understand those risks in your office and for your billing. And finally, if you'd like to view some other questions, continue to visit our YouTube channel because we're adding commonly asked questions frequently. If you'd like to learn more about our products and services, you can visit compliantchiro.com for chiropractic compliance solutions, or chirocode.com to visit the ChiroCode Institute, and you may also submit help desk questions yourself there at compliantchiro.com. So thank you for listening. I hope this help desk response was helpful to you.